This morning, Patrick Dumont, Mavericks ownership, they made the decision to fire Nico Harrison. And Nico Harrison was informed around 9:15 a.m. that he would be meeting with Patrick Dumont, the owner, at 10 a.m. Central Time. And that meeting was set for him to be fired and let go. Just last night, we saw Patrick Dumont sitting with a fan courtside. I'm told that interaction with Patrick Dumont admitting to the fan that the organization had made a mistake with the Luka Doncic trade in February and that he was going to take accountability for it and do right by the fans. And so a day later, he's made the decision to fire Nico Harrison. And this is the Mavs essentially doing right by their fans. There's been such a public outcry internally in Dallas there. As soon as they traded Luka Doncic on February 1st in the late night hours on that Saturday night.
Is that them, Ed Cohen?
Yeah.
Okay, go. I'll get you.
Good evening and welcome into the Wild Sports Show. To the right of your screen, to your left of your screen is Pops, and I am QMP. We are your favorite father-son duo talking sports. Apologies for the delay, y'all. Had some technical difficulties, but we're here. We're live. So, again, apologies for the delay. But like I said, we're here. The clip you just saw was from the ESPN NBA Insider, senior ESPN Insider, NBA Insider, in regards to what happened to Nico Harrison on Tuesday. I know a lot of, fans were clamoring for that to happen, and it actually did. So, it is what it is, y'all. Nico Harrison is no longer a part of the Mavs organization. And Pops, you have the floor.
Okay, again, good evening, everyone. I had told my son that I thought that was kind of what could I say? I don't know how I actually could word that, but anyway, I thought that Nico was let go in a sense in the wrong way because of the fact that the ownership has to say or has something to do with Luka being traded, and I think that he probably didn't agree with it, but Nico, he cannot do any of this without the owners agreeing with this. And so I think Nico was actually the scapegoat for the ownership because, like I said, again, he cannot do this by himself. I know he may be disheartened about it himself, but like I said, again, there's a rumor out that the owners possibly wanted the Mavericks to tank later on down the line so they could move the team to Las Vegas. That's what I have at the people saying at my job. They said because of the fact that the ownership was not given the right to do casino out there by Texas Stadium. So they're saying that they actually have the team that they want. So if the team tanks, then they'll have an excuse to move the Dallas Mavericks and they'll become the Las Vegas Mavericks.
Okay, understood. So, I wanted you to share that because of the fact that it is multiple layers to this. But, the ownership had a part in this as well. This whole Luka trade and whatever happened with that, somebody had to sign off on it. So, it is what it is. But like I said, as of right now, it is what it is. It's happening right now. It has happened. We'll see what moves are made moving forward. Now, I will say he did send a letter to all Mavs fans, in regards to, an open letter to all Mavs fans. As a matter of fact, he sent it on Tuesday. So I'm going to read this, and I don't know who has all received this. And the funny thing is, as you know, I am not even a Mavs fan. I'm a Lakers fan. You've known this for the longest that I'm a Lakers fan. So even I was taken aback when they made the trade to have Lucas sent over to, you know, the Lakers, but it is what it is. But I'm going to read this to y'all. So it says, Dear Mavs family, on May 30th, 2024, the Mavericks won the Western Conference Championship. We came up short in the NBA Finals, but we all agreed our future was bright. As fans of this franchise, you have every right to demand a commitment to success from us. No one associated with the Mavericks organization is happy with the start of what we all believe will be a promising season. You have high expectations for the Mavericks. I share them with you. When the results don't meet expectations, it's my responsibility to act. I've made the decision to part ways with General Manager Nico Harrison. Though the majority of the 2025-2026 season remains to be played, and I know our players are deeply committed to a winning culture, this decision was critical to moving our franchise forward in a positive direction. I understand the profound impact these difficult last several months have had. Please know that I'm fully committed to the success of the Mavericks. Thank you for your support. Thank you for holding us accountable. And thank you for your passion and for your patience. You deserve transparency and a team that reflects your spirit. Our goal is to return winning basketball to Dallas and win championships. Our family is committed to that mission and to continuing to invest. Please join me in continuing to cheer on our players and supporting all of those who work to make this organization the best be. Go Mavs. Thank you, Patrick. So that was from Patrick Dumont, the owner of the Mavs. And, that's what he said. And thank you for the comment, Brandon. What Nico did to the Mavs is what Jerry Jones did to the Cowboys after Super Bowl 28. Some bull. I completely agree with that, and I know Pops agrees with you on that as well. Thank you for the comment, horror flick chick. Sounds more like the moves are critical to somebody's pockets, and you may be right. And again, it remains to be seen what will happen in next few days, weeks, months, whatever the case may be. We shall see. We shall see what happens, and only time will tell. Again, the fans were clamoring for Nico Harrison to be fired ever since the Luka Doncic trade occurred. And even as a Lakers fan, I was taken aback. Like, are you serious? When as soon as I saw the text come through about the move that had been made, I'm like, whoa, what happened here? So anyway, I wanted to make sure we started the show with that because I know there are a lot of Mavs fans that look at our show, and just wanted to share that with y'all. And if you didn't know, now you know Nico Harrison is now no longer a part of the Mavs organization. And again, we'll see what happens moving forward. So moving on, we're going to also talk about some NFL news and notes, y'all. We're going to talk about Cowboys Raiders. We're going to also pose our question of the day. And then we're going to talk about, a legendary passing in the NBA. And then we're going to also discuss something that I think is very important and actually a topic that Pops brought up and wanted to make sure that we did discuss on our show this week. So we want to make sure that we do talk about that. So again, appreciate y'all tuning in. Greatly appreciate that. So let's get into it, Pops. Now that we talked about the Mavs. So NFL news and notes. So the first thing we want to talk about, as I know is heavy on people's hearts, is the passing of Marshawn Kneeland. And look, guys, as you see in the pic there, it is definitely a tragedy that occurred, and we're very sorry to see that this has occurred, and we definitely want to send prayers out to his family, his girlfriend, whom is pregnant, and just a tragic loss. And I know that a lot of fans are hurting. I know the players more than anything are hurting, the coach as well, and appreciate the comment. Rest in heaven for sure. Rest in heaven for sure. So just wanted to start that off, our NFL news and notes with that, the passing of Marshawn Kneeland. Hearts are heavy, and I know the team is going to gonna play inspired for sure with his passing. So again, prayers out to his family and to his girlfriend as well. Pops, your thoughts?
Well, I just wanted to say that we should try to make sure that our listeners and our viewers understand that if anybody's suffering with any kind of problem, the number is 988 to call someone because we never know who's going through whatever. And a lot of times people can have smiles on their faces and that you still don't know what kind of trouble that they're going through or whatever. And again, like my son said, that we are deeply grieving for this young man because no one actually knew. And really, what's so strange about it is the last game we had, he actually scored a touchdown in that game. And if you'd have looked at that, you would have thought that he was okay, everything was all right. But as we found out, it wasn't. And then I think it was a little bit more to that. His girlfriend was saying. But again, the main thing we want to do is to ask everyone that's listening to us to let someone know what may be going on in your life because you can't always tell that, and you need to make sure that someone in your family or whoever you know can find out what kind of help they can assist you in because it's a tragic incident that can happen to a lot of people, even people that possibly maybe even listening to this show. You never know what they're going through. So please, if you guys are thinking anything any different, again, the number is 988. So please let us know if there's any problems going on in your life.
Thank you for that, Pops. Thank you for the comment, Horror Flick Chick. Things are rarely what they seem. We see what people want us to see. That is so true. That is so true. That is so true. So again, thank you for those profound words, Pops. Greatly appreciate it. And we'll get into that a bit more as we close the show as well as we discussed. But thank you for those words, Pops. I'm sure that's helped someone. And again, if you need some help, please be sure to talk to someone because we want to be able to support one another for sure. Just I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna leave it at that. But the next thing we want to talk about is the passing of Paul Tagliabue, who was the NFL commissioner. Before we send that clip up, thank you for the comment, Brandon. A lot of these athletes are dealing with stuff, but treat the game like a job, and that's true as well. That's very true. As Pop said, the young man scored a touchdown, and we're thinking, man, he's on cloud nine. It's very first touchdown. He did his thing there, and sure enough, this occurs. So you just never know what's going on in someone's mind, as this clearly shows here. And again, we want to be able to support one another continuously because, again, you just never know what's going through someone's mind. But, like I said, we'll be talking about that a lot more for sure as we close the show, just to make sure we reiterate. Yes, indeed, Renee. Appreciate the comment. Life, indeed. But we'll be closing the show and talking about this a bit more. Again, we want to be here to support. We talk about sports as a safe space, y'all. We want to make sure y'all have fun watching our show, and that you come in here to have positive vibes, and that again, we want to create a safe space for people to come in, have a good time talking about sports along with us. So as I said, we're going to go on and talk about another passing in the NFL, the passing of Paul Tagliabue, who was the NFL commissioner for several years. Um, you know, I will say that he was the commissioner since I've been on this earth, and he was the commissioner from 1989 to 2006, and I gotta say, he had done so many things for the league, transcended it for sure, just making it super mainstream, and a big reason why the NFL is where it is today. You know, the major accomplishment is that there were never any work stoppages while he was the commissioner of the NFL. That is amazing, because we know, as Roger Goodell has been in that position, that has not been the case. But with this man at the helm of the NFL, again, he had done some major things, and the main thing is there were no work stoppages at all, no strikes, none of that while he was at the helm. Your thoughts, Pop?
Well, I would just you basically said everything that I was going to actually say, You are right about that. And I think in those years that he was there, the NFL probably got a lot more popular as far as the teams and all of those that teams that were in the. I guess it was, you could say it was kind of like the AFL thing, on kind of on back there, and they kept on developing developing, and like I said, say it became more popular uh, in his leadership. I think the players also looked up to him also a lot more. And I know that everyone has their own leadership qualities, but again, I'll reiterate on what you said. You more or less covered everything, and so I really don't have anything much more to say. But he's one of the best leaders that the NFL has had.
Yep. Now, Brandon posted another comment. A good question is, how do the Cowboys focus on the game with such heavy hearts? That's a great question, man. And I think because we've had passings in the league before. When Chris Henry passed away, the wide receiver for the Cincinnati Bengals. How that affected them. And I will also say, I would hope that if anything, it does galvanize a team to come closer together. You could just visibly see the emotion on everyone's faces as they're in, doing the media obligations, and it was truly evident on Coach Schottenheimer's face. First time talking to the media and how he responded. I gotta say, I admire the way he responded. Truly seemed as though he really got to know Marshawn Kneeland, not just a football player, but the person as well. He was visibly shaken as well during his press conference. And, I think it's going to galvanize them, and I think it's going to help them come together even more to play inspired. That's what I truly believe. Thank you for your comment, Horror Flick Chick. Hopefully the NFL allows the Cowboys some sort of grievous sound. That would be ideal, but I highly doubt they're going to do anything in regards to just, maybe canceling the game or whatever the case may be. They're not going to do that. And if they did, I would be extremely surprised. And I think the fact that it is a Monday night game certainly helps because it's a bit more time for them to grieve since they're not playing on Sunday. But I would be shocked if they do, postpone the game in any way, shape, form, or fashion. That's just my opinion on that. But good opinion. It would be helpful for sure, but I doubt that they're going to do that. I see we got another comment from Horror Flick Chick. One day is rude as hell. I mean, I agree, but when it comes down to it, we know how some do react when it comes to business being done and things of that nature and what comes first. So again, I would be highly surprised if they postpone it in any way. And like I said, the fact that it is a Monday night game, pretty sure that plays a role in it as well. But again, we'll see. We shall see. All right, so we're gonna move on to another big happening in the NFL, and that was the firing of Coach Brian Daboll, the now former head coach of the New York Football Giants. Now, again, we are Cowboys fans, so we do talk about the other teams in the NFC East. Am I surprised by this? Kinda. I kind of am, because of the fact that I would have thought with him being able to draft the quarterback in Jackson Dart, that he would be able to stay on and kind of see this thing through. But that is not the case. As we saw their epic collapse against the Denver Broncos, and then this last game that they played did not look too good either. And, wind up seeing Jackson Dart getting hurt in this particular game this last game they played. And it didn't bode well. It didn't bode well at all for him. And now he is no longer the coach of the New York Football Giants. However, the general manager, Joe Shane, is staying on board. And they said that ownership has said that he is going to oversee the hiring of a new head coach. Now, that's another question all into itself. We'll talk about that here in a bit. Pops, I'm going to let you talk about what you think of Coach Daboll being fired.
Well, if everyone remembers, the fuse was probably lit about maybe a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, when he was losing, and everyone thought that he would probably be fired then. But I guess the owners maybe felt a little bit sorry for him or whatever, and I guess they brought Russell around to make it to where they would look a little bit better. But again, like I said, the fuse had already it's been lit, and now it has actually exploded. And so I think the New York Giant fans have suffered enough, and just like I guess any other team, you wanted him out of there because you wanted a new direction, and so that's what they had to do. Because I think possibly in New York, you don't have too many opportunities to actually lose too many games, and they suffered with him for, like I said, about 3 years. And he had 1 year, I think he had a good year, and I kind of thought that he would probably bounce back, but the losses that he's had, and I'll say this: the Denver game didn't help him at all. When he had all the lead like he had, and they lost it, and they lost that game, that even more or less lit the fuse a little bit more. So again, that's why they had to get him out of there, because I think the Giant fans, they cannot take it anymore.
Got another comment from Brandon. Thank you so much. He can't coach. The proof. Look at what Daniel Jones is doing in Indy. Great point. Yeah, Daniel Jones is looking like I don't know. I don't know who I'm watching right now with the Indianapolis coach, who's at quarterback right now, because it definitely doesn't seem like the Daniel Jones that was in New York at all. So he's playing lights out. And you're right. This is the thing in the NFL. As we've seen with other quarterbacks as well. Daniel Jones is just one of the other two that I'm going to discuss. You have, Sam Darnold that's playing well right now. You have also Baker Mayfield that's playing lights out as well. And so you can clearly see that coaching does matter for sure. The situation does matter, and seems like Daniel Jones is better. Proof is in the pudding. He is much better off at Indy than he was at the Giants. And, I honestly believe that ownership looked at that as well, and that played a role in his getting let go. Because you're looking at Daniel Jones playing lights out in Indianapolis. Well, why couldn't he do that with us? And not to mention the fact that, it was thought that the Giants could win without Saquon Barkley. And that's my other point that I was going to get into. Not just, Brian Daboll getting fired, but why is it that Joe Shane is still at the helm as general manager? I honestly don't understand that, because at the end of the day, when we were hearing things before, it was more so both of them will be let go as opposed to just one of them. Now, mind you, they do have some good talent that was drafted. However, this is the same guy that, if we remember, when they did the very first, and I don't believe they've done it again, the off-season version of Hard Knocks, Joe Shane was an individual that laughed it off in regards to saying we need Saquon Barkley, or paying back the amount of money he was asking for. So, again, why is he, at the helm looking for another coach? I have no idea. But, Giants, do your thing. Another comment from Brandon. Big Blue just has coaching issues because how they have Russell Wilson, and he put up almost 500 yards against the Cowboys and still lose. Now, listen now. We don't need to bring that up, Brandon. Let's relax on that, man. Let's relax. Because, yes, they did put up 500 yards, but that's because our defense is awful right now. That's why we got these defensive players that we traded for, is because our defense is making people like Russell Wilson look like, vintage versions of themselves. Because as we've seen, Russell Wilson ain't did that since he played us. So let's calm that down. Now you do make a strong point though, in a way, yeah, 500 yards against us, and they still partly coaching as well, but there's a lot of it being our defense playing awful. So just saying. Now we're gonna move on, guys. Again, anything bad happen to any NFC East teams, I'm all for it, honestly. Now, I'm not all for people getting fired or anything of that nature. I'm not saying that, but at the same time, if it's going to cause them to lose, fine. I'm all for that for sure. Keep losing, keep making coaching changes, keep doing all that. We good. As long as it helps Cowboys, I'm good. Another comment from Brandon, but now they got Jameis Winston, aka Picky Smalls, aka Picky Smalls. Nice one, my man. So yeah, I mean, again, he's starting now, and part of the problem is, you got this injury with Jackson Dart, and who knows when he's going to come back, from concussion protocol. We'll see. But, hey, it bodes well for the Cowboys. So hopefully we'll get the defensive ship righted to where we'll be able to get some of these picks. So good point. Hopefully he'll throw us on. And, but the thing is, we don't want to make our defense seem like a fluke or anything like we played against the Commanders. We want to actually, be causing these turnovers because our defense is actually playing well. You know what I mean? So anyway, moving on. We're going to talk Cowboys Raiders. Cowboys Raiders, y'all. Now, when the season started, as a Cowboys were playing pretty good offense, looking pretty good. This may have seemed like a win on paper, if you're looking at it. However, I don't know. Because, again, we lost to the Cardinals just a week or so ago, y'all, a couple weeks ago. So, could we beat the Raiders? Maybe. I hope we can. But I really don't know. It's a toss-up. Y'all, it's 50-50, honestly. So I will say with us having the defensive players we do have now, keep in mind, this will be their first game that they're playing with the Cowboys. So am I looking to see good things from the players we've acquired? Of course I am. But at the same time, they still got to gel with the other defensive players. So we're going to see how it looks. Now, I can tell you, the Raiders are pretty darn good against the run. Tell you that right now. So hopefully we don't get into a situation where we're just, abandoning the run, and just passing it a ton of times. But we shall see. Another comment from Brandon, our defense needs consistency and to apply inside pressure. Cause Geno Smith might end up looking like Rich Gannon when they play us. Listen, we already talked about how we made Russell Wilson look like the vintage Russell Wilson when he played for the Seahawks. So, again, we got the defensive guys in here now that are going to hopefully make a difference. But, again, first game on, I don't know if they'll have an immediate impact. Now, Quentin Williams could possibly do that. I don't know. Now, also, I will tell you this. We do have a couple more players coming on board in Demarion Overshown and Siobhan Ravel. They're both coming off of IR. Now, again, are they going to make any immediate impact? I believe Demarion Overshown will, but are they going to be on snap counts because they're just now coming back from injury? Probably, but we'll see. And what we don't want to do is rush them in and have them playing 1,000 snaps when they're not truly in game shape. They've been on IR since the start of the season. And I will tell you, everyone knows that Demarion Overshown has been out since last season, when he had the significant injury he had. So, again, they got to get into some game shape. So they're more than likely going to be on snap counts. But hopefully the snaps they play, they'll be able to make an impact. But we shall see. Pops, can you convince me, first of all, how are we going to win this game?
I want to kind of like input a little bit of more information in that. I don't know, and I hope it's not exactly negative, but with Dallas going through what they've gone through with this week, we don't always know how each individual will feel with this game coming up. Sometimes you can play on emotions and they can help you win the game, and sometimes you can play on emotions and they can help you lose the game. And so hopefully, I know there's one young man, Dak, that can possibly talk to the guys in the locker room before they come out, and hopefully he'll have a positive influence on them because of what he's gone through. But I think it's an even match game basically. But again, like I said, with what Dallas has gone through this week, I'm trying to see how they're going to bounce back with that. If it'll be a positive effect or a negative effect. And I think if they all rally together, they can beat the Raiders in the sense that it could actually uplift everybody's spirit to show that they pull together to win a game for the young man that lost it, that committed the suicide. So we'll see what happens with that.
Understood. Appreciate that, Pops. Now we got another comment from Brandon. Overshow could potentially be the NFL version of street clothes. Now, Brandon, come on, man. Why you gotta do that, man? Come on, man. Hopefully that won't be the case, but we shall see. I really do hope not, though, because he is a very talented player, and I'm hoping that he can string together a lot more games for us. But man, come on. Don't be calling a man street clothes, man. And I'll tell you, I really do think he'll have an impact on the plays that he does play. But again, he's going to be on a snap count for sure, as he's not truly in game shape yet. And we'll see how things progress. But man, I'm hoping he doesn't turn into the NFL version of street clothes, man. I'm really hoping that's not the case. Why you got to do that, man? All right, so now. There is one person, and I know both you and I agree that the Raiders do have to stop, for sure. And it's this individual right here. Go on and put up that clip for me. That guy right there. So that is Brock Bowers. He is the tight end / do everything player on offense for the Las Vegas Raiders. And listen, he is a game breaker. He is an amazing, amazing, amazing player. And we got to stop this, guys. I know you'll agree, Pops. I know you do agree. We have to stop this guy. They have Ashton Genty, understood. And we do give up a good amount of yards on the via the run game to other teams. But this guy here, we got to stop this guy for sure. We cannot let him take over the game because he can definitely do that. He is a game breaker. He is a hell of a player, and we got to stop that guy for sure. Now, Pops, tell me how we going to stop Brock Bowers? Tell me how.
Well, again, like I said, if he leaves the zone play along with the defense, if he stops using zone and goes man to man and puts pressure on the quarterback, which Gino's pretty good, but if you put pressure on him, he tends to kind of get a little nervous back there. So if we can go to man and we use that and also, like I said, apply the pressure to him, and I think that we can actually stop him because the simple fact is you can even double cover him if you need to, and because I don't think they have anybody else any better than him. But usually I would always say when you have a receiver that does what he does, then you actually put two men, one underneath and one over the top. So again, the pass rush with the individual plays, shall I say, man to man, and don't do that zone stuff. He's gonna kill you underneath. So we'll see what happens.
Thank you, Pops. Now we do have another comment from Brandon. Who they gonna put on him? Like seriously, 5 yards too deep. True, very true. And the only thing I would say that we need to truly do, obviously, I think we need to put Bland on him, and I think we obviously need to bracket coverage to make sure that he is not able to take over the game. You put your best corner on the best pass catcher that the offense has. Bland right now is that guy. So I think he needs to be on him, and I think they need to give him some help as well, just in case. And I believe that the other receivers can be covered one-on-one. Now, again, with our defense, but that's what I would do to stop Brock Bowers for sure. Because, again, we do not want him taking over the game. He's going to get a couple catches here and there, but we want to make sure that we do what we can to make sure he doesn't affect the game in a significant way, because he truly can. So, we'll see how that goes. Now, if DeMarvion Overshown was, playing at the start of the season, absolutely, I would put him on him because of the fact that he's able to go sideline to sideline, and I believe he can cover pretty well. And I would think that yeah, he could do pretty good on Brock Bowers. And obviously, he would still need some help over the top just in case. But his speed and his range, I believe he would be able to provide good coverage on him. But I wouldn't say that for this particular game because, again, first game back. So that's asking a lot of him. Now, he may cover him here and there, but that wouldn't be the game plan. I wouldn't think. But that's what we need to stop for sure. Brock Bowers, that's going to be a key to us winning this game for sure. Obviously, we're going to need to stop the run as well, but we do not want Brock Bowers to be a game breaker, which he can be. All right, y'all. So next up is our question of the day. Our question of the day is, who is the best QB in the NFL? Now, we're going to do it a little bit different, right? We're going to go division by division. And for this week, we're going to go with the NFC North, okay? Now, you see the NFC North quarterbacks up there. You got Jared Goff. You got Caleb Williams. You got J.J. McCarthy. You got Jordan Love. Now, mind you, we just came off a game, Monday night game, where Jordan Love played against the Philadelphia Eagles. He didn't look too good, right? So that's fresh on a lot of people's minds, understandably so. So I'm going to give you my top four in the NFC North, give you my best QB, and then we'll filter down from there. So I'm going to tell you that, to me, the best QB in the NFC North right now is a quarterback for the Chicago Bears, Caleb Williams. Some people may not agree, whatever. But I believe the way he's playing, his athleticism, the way he can throw the ball, and just being in his Ben Johnson system, listen, he's playing really well. And to me, he is the best quarterback in the NFC North. I really like how he's throwing the ball. Like I said, how he's making plays with his legs as well. Did an awesome job of that. This last game they played was outstanding. And he just been a bit more consistent with how he's played. I know he still has some growing pains here and there, but just to me, he is the best quarterback in the NFC North. And then followed by Jared Goff, then Jordan Love, and then J.J. McCarthy. Now, could that change? I don't know, but at least for now, that's mine. Pops, what do you think?
I'm going to go with Goff. And the reason I say that is because of what he has done in the past and how he's led his team to the championship game and all of that. And also, I think everybody tends to think that I thought that he had lost it. And so far, they're playing pretty good. And also, I think they have a new offensive coordinator, if I'm not mistaken. And I think for him to have to change and do that under the new offensive coordinator is showing that he can adjust. And your boy Caleb is he's doing fine. He's doing fine right now, and I think he's still adjusting everything because he's been up and down with offensive coordinators and all that too. And so I think right now still that Goff, until they actually knock him off his pedestal, because I know your boy Love is, as you said Monday night, he didn't look too well. And I think the Green Bay Packer fans were a little bit irate about the fact that he didn't do as well as they thought he could. I know one pass was dropped that should have been caught, but Love is still coming to his own because of the fact he followed behind Aaron Rodgers for so long. But I have to go with Goff right now because he's proven that he can get the team to the championship round.
Yeah, okay, understood. I respect that. So we had another comment from Brandon. He said Williams is more like 2017 Goff. I like that. And just so you know, and I appreciate you bringing that up. So the stats for Jared Goff for 2017, he had 3,804 yards passing. He had 28 touchdowns and 7 interceptions with a 62.1 completion percentage and a passer rating of 100.5. And he actually made the Pro Bowl for the first time in that year. So, okay, I like that. Appreciate you, Brandon. So, yeah, again, I think how he's playing, he's going to end up being the first 4,000-yard passer in Bears history. Did you know that they never had a 4,000-yard passer in their history, Pops?
Nah, didn't know that. Didn't know that.
Never had a 4,000-yard passer, and I think with Ben Johnson, he's going to surpass that for sure. So yeah, good call there, Brandon. I appreciate you having my back on that, man. But yeah, again, we're gonna go division by division, y'all. So we're doing it a little bit differently than what some of these other shows do. We're gonna rate them division by division, and then we're gonna come back with our entire list once our series of who is the best QB in the NFL concludes. Now we may go back to this next show. Who knows? But it is our question of the day. Again, who is the best QB in the NFL, division by division? Pop says Jared Goff for the NFC North, and I say Caleb Williams for the NFC North. So we'll see how it plays out, y'all. So next up, we're going to talk about a significant passing in the NBA that happened. And it's Lenny Wilkens, legendary figure in the NBA. I know, Pops, you had told me you didn't know that this had happened, but it's so it was so amazing to see Lenny Wilkens. It's like no matter what NBA game I turned on, I would always see him talking to someone or to a player or just being around the league on a constant basis. It was just amazing to see. Lenny Wilkens was a legendary figure in the NBA. I mean, Pops, he was inducted in the Hall of Fame three different times. And first was as a player, second time was as a coach, and then he got inducted as part of the Dream Team, 92 Olympic men's basketball team. That's amazing. This shows how much of an impact that Lenny Wilkens had on the NBA, and it's a significant loss. Like I said, I just remember just seeing him so many countless games on TV, but seeing him around and just being a mentor to others. So many players. It was definitely a heartfelt loss throughout the NBA, and definitely prayers for his family, for their loss. But NBA lost a real one with this one. Lenny Wilkens, legendary figure in the NBA. Your thoughts, Pop?
A lot of people I didn't know that Lenny Wilkens was really the coach of the Seattle Supersonics, which are now the Oklahoma City Thunder, and they were in Seattle at first, and that's where your boy I can't think of his name right now, but I think I'm not sure he's with let's see, what is his name? But for some reason, he slips my mind. But anyway, Lenny Wilkens, like I said, he was actually the coach of the Seattle Supersonics when they're in Seattle. And that's where he really became known because he actually had the Seattle Supersonics in the playoffs more or less every year. And they really were a good team until actually, I guess they started changing coaches and all of that. And let's see, who was the one that played with let's see, Phoenix last year that they traded? I can't think of the name of the other one.
Kevin Durant.
Yeah, Kevin Durant. Okay, that's where the Seattle. Durant was in Seattle up there, and like I said, they became known also up there. And again, he was the one that put them on the map. And so again, like you said, I want to tip my hat to him because he has made and done all of the things that the NBA would ever want, and also he represented them well. That's one thing you have to remember, that this day and time, when you're actually in sports and you do shall I say, sports scenes or whatever, and Lenny Wilkens was also considered to be a gentleman and all of that. And like you said, his passing does hurt a little bit because I actually was back there with him and seen him play and all of that. And so I just hate to see that. But hopefully his family will be with him as he rests in peace.
Thank you for that, Pops. So, as I mentioned to begin the show, we were going to go back to the Marshawn Kneeland situation to close the show out. And again, we want to just go back to that just to again tell you guys this is a safe space, positive vibes here, and just discuss just the impact that this loss is going to have on the Cowboys. it is significant, and like I said, it's truly sad to really. Um, it's surreal, sad and surreal at the same time, because the timeline itself, again, young man has scored a touchdown, and then we get the news, and I got to tell you, as soon as I saw it on my phone, I couldn't believe it. I was just stopped in my tracks. I was actually at work at the time I saw it, and immediately, prayed for the young man's family, and his girlfriend as well, because it was unbelievable to see that happen, to come across the screen. Again, surreal moment in time, and again, you just don't know what someone is going through. You really don't. And from what the players were saying, he is a you know he was a jubilant person, smiling, doing all those things, and really was one that seemed like he had a lot of joy. You know, but that was not the case, and truly something else was going on that obviously no one knew about. Maybe his girlfriend knew about it, but because she was mentioning about the fact that not having uh, mentioning about the police situation, and a firearm and things of that nature. Just was concerned about his well-being, and then this happens. Again, such a tragic loss. Uh, just a tragic loss. Pops.
We talk about this, and we gave the number to everyone to call. And sometimes people are kind of even embarrassed to talk about certain things in their life that actually go on. And sometimes you see a smile that's really not a smile. And sometimes there's so much pressure on young people this day and time. They don't want to express that or whatever. They may talk to another friend possibly, but the main thing is that it is so much pressure on the young people this day and time that and sometimes we may need to even reach out to them and just kind of put our arms around them and ask them and see what kind of look they do have, because sometimes those smiles could really be upside down frowns. And so again, you have to ask and look and make sure you pay close attention to it, because with me being uh, at the school, we see a lot of things with the young people, and some I've seen in tears and going through certain things or whatever. And I don't think they maybe even express it with their parents or whatever. But this young man here, we saw him. He scored his touchdown. We thought, man, life is great. There are a lot of other things that were on his mind, but nobody could actually look inside his mind and find out what was really going on. So as far as our audience goes, please make sure you guys pay attention to the signs of people that may be depressed or down or whatever. Or they start acting a certain way, or they start pulling themselves away and kind of wanting to be alone or whatever. Because like I said, that may be the last time you speak to them, and you hate to say that, I coulda, shoulda, woulda. Just make sure you try to look deep inside them if you can, and make sure you sometimes put your arms around them and let them know I'm there for you if you need help. So please make sure you guys remember that number, that 988 number, because like I said, the last time you speak to them, you said again, I woulda, I shoulda, and I coulda, and we don't want that to be the last case.
Absolutely, Pops. I appreciate that. Now, horror flick chick put up a comment. So thank you so much for your comment. She said that my eldest is close to his age. My heart, hug on your loved ones, and you just had touched on that as that was coming across the screen, Pops. You just put your arm around those, your loved ones, just in general. Not just your loved ones in general, but any of those that you see that may be struggling. Just please be as supportive as you possibly can, because again, as I said early on in the show, you don't know what people are going through, and you want to be as positive as you possibly can, because you don't know what people are dealing with. And then we had another comment from Queen of Conversation, especially close to the holidays. Couldn't be more true. True. I mean, you got, these holidays coming up, and it seems like when that happens, at this time, it just seems like it hits harder. It really does. Because, when you think about, the holidays, You're thinking about spending time with your family. And now, Marshawn Kneeland is no longer here for his family to spend time with him. So yeah, it's a significant loss, especially during the holidays. You're on point with that for sure. So once again, guys, we posted the number early on. Pops mentioned the number early on, 988. Please make sure that you dial that. If you're needing help, going through anything, please be sure. If you wouldn't mind, let's put that back up on the screen, please, please, please. 988. Please dial that number. Please, if you need help, because at the end of the day, we're all here to support each other. We want to make sure that everybody's good every single day, and we are blessed to be on this earth. When we wake up to see another day, we are blessed on this earth to be helpful to someone else. And again, just please make sure you dial that number, the 988 number. If you are struggling with anything, please, please, please need to talk. There's a number right there. Again, this show is about sports, but we also care about our audience. We care about all those who are watching. Yes, Queen of Conversation, so many struggles. That's very true. So whatever you're going through, utilize that number, the 988 number. Again, just want to make sure that, again, we do talk about sports here. We do care about our audience and want to make sure you guys are good out there. Again, creating a safe space for you guys, creating a positive vibes for you to enjoy what we're talking about. You know what I mean? So again, if you are struggling with anything, you have the number to dial there. Simple as that. There's nothing more I can say about that. Pops, again, I appreciate your words. We're gonna cut it there, guys. I appreciate all of you guys who have tuned in tonight. Apologies that we're a little late coming on. Had technical difficulties, but we got it together, y'all. So we're able to come to you guys again live today. Appreciate you guys tuning in. And on a different night as well. Just know we will be back on live next Wednesday. Normal schedule next Wednesday, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Yo, again, appreciate everyone tuning in. Thank y'all so much for the support. Until next Wednesday, y'all, take care of one another, support one another, look out for one another. If you need help, please dial that number, 988. Please, 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 if you need help, ask that you dial that number. Till next Wednesday, y'all. Peace out. Oh, forgot one more thing. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe as much as you possibly can. We appreciate that, y'all. So y'all keep getting this content. We love bringing it to y'all. Y'all can just share it with others. Love y'all. We appreciate y'all. Please make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Till next time, y'all. Peace.